they wouldn't even hire me as a server in a restaurant because I've never worked in my life. I was working like Monday to Sunday, no days off for many years. And instead of making money, I was actually accumulating like more that and that and that. I actually met a girl on Tinder, and I end up at a presentation that I didn't know it was a network marketing presentation. I thought it was like a health event. He literally looked at me and he's like, hey, there's nobody in Italy doing this type of business. You could be the number one. It takes me my whole life to do it. I'm okay with that because I can't do this anywhere else. But hunger or desire for success cannot be coached. I cannot tell you, hey, you need to be wanting more money. You need to desire more, because if you don't want it for yourself, it's never going to happen. 80% of my leads come through social media. Personal branding is one of the most important things. The better your personal brand is, the higher level people you attract. I want people to look at my page and be like, I can learn from this guy. Even if I never join his business, I can take something away.
Hey network marketers, if you want to know what sets the top leaders apart in this business, you've come to the right spot. We are a sales and marketing agency working with the best in the business. And in our podcast, we are diving deep into their secrets. From mindset to recruitment to onboarding like pros, we're here to show you how they do it. Plus, we've got actionable steps you can use to rise to the top, no matter where you are in your journey. Get ready to level up and dominate. Welcome to the MLM Duplication Podcast.
Welcome to another episode of the MLM Duplication Podcast. My name is Tika, and we are here today with a former football player from Italy who became a top network marketing leader. His name is Giordano Carretta, and Giordano has a super interesting story because just about a decade ago, he was $30,000 in debt working as a busboy and a soccer coach. He was just stuck in that life. So today we are going to talk about how he overcame that and what were the strategies he used to allow him to achieve this great success and become top network marketing leader. Giordano, welcome to our podcast, and we are happy to have you here.
Thank you so much. It's an honor for me to be here. I appreciate the invite.
Let's just start right off with this debt that you had. Can you walk us through, if you can share how that happened, how long it lasted, and how did you get out of it?
Right. So yeah, basically I moved to California in 2012. I was living in Italy. So when I arrived in California, I didn't have any money to start. Technically, I was not supposed to stay. I just went to see how it was going to be. So I didn't have like money saved up. I didn't have a degree or I didn't know anybody. So like when I started, I started from like really like low level jobs. They wouldn't even hire me as a server in a restaurant because I've never worked in my life. I play soccer or football, however you want to call it, my whole life. And I helped my dad with his business, but I never had a real job in Italy. So I didn't have a resume. So when I started like cleaning the floors in the restaurant, cleaning windows, doing deliveries. And then after a while, I became like a busboy and then a server. But during that time, like I didn't have any money. So I had to, rely on credit cards, loans. I couldn't afford a car, so I financed it. And every time I had an extra expense, I need to, get into more and more debt and then refinance again. So after 3 years of doing that life, I started coaching as well for soccer. I was a coach, but also, as between the expenses that you have and all that stuff, it's like, it's not easy. Like the salary as a coach is barely enough to pay the expenses to coach. So it pretty much is like not earning money. And so by doing that life, I was working like Monday to Sunday, no days off for many years. And instead of making money, I was actually accumulating like more that and that and that. And then like, that's why, when I got introduced into network marketing in 2015, I saw that as like an answer to my prayers, because I was looking for a way out. And I just didn't think that my life would ever gonna get me out of that situation. So that's when I got introduced to network marketing in 2015. And I had over $30,000 in that at that time.
And how you were introduced into network marketing? Was it the event? Was it like a personal friend who got involved?
Yeah, it's actually a very unique story, but I actually met a girl on Tinder, and I end up at a presentation that I didn't know it was a network marketing presentation. I thought it was like a health event. And I walk into the room and the rest is history,
Was that the first date?
We actually never went on a date. It was like actually how we met. Then I went to the presentation, but we never went on a date or anything. It was just like happened that way.
Was it her channel of introducing people to network marketing, or how that
No,
worked?
I don't think so. I don't think like it was her way. It just happened that way. It was like very unique situation. It's like all happened in a crazy way, but I'm glad it did.
So you close the deal in the best way possible with network marketing, basically, and combining everything. So what was something on that event that basically made you like, oh man, this is for me?
I mean, the guy who's doing the presentation, his name is Colton, which is now one of my best friend, and he was my mentor for many many years. At the end of the presentation, like he talked to me and he listened to my story, and I told him, I come from Italy. I don't have, I'm like struggling a lot, and then he said something that changed my life. He literally looked at me and he said, "Hey, there's nobody in Italy doing this type of business. I checked, like there's no sales right now. We have an office, but there's really no sales." Which means there's nobody that is really like having a lot of success in the business. So if you really learn this, you could be the number one in your country. And then when he said that, like, after many years of failure, someone that believe in you and say you can be the number one at something, I got really excited. And that's why I always tell people, like in all my training, that you have to believe in people before they believe in themselves. Because like I didn't believe in myself at that time. I didn't know I was capable of something like that, but someone else who was successful told me, "Hey, you can be the number one." And then I'm like, hey, maybe if I'm around those people that believe in me and they teach me how to do it, I can really do something big. Because like in my life, nobody ever believed in me, because I failed 3 years in high school. I didn't finish school. I didn't go to college. I was that guy that was destined to like normal jobs, without a degree, without any experience. And I felt a failure my whole life. And nobody ever told me, hey, you can be the number one at something. And so when he said that, I'm like, I don't care what I need to do. I'm going to go all in with this because he believes in me and I'm going to prove him that he's right.
That's super interesting how like some people or majority of people need just a little, little bit of encouragement, a little bit of belief, and then boom, they go off. And people don't get that. And as you said, it's hard that you believe in yourself when you previously don't have a good track record. But
Mm-hmm.
when someone else believe, and I think that's what makes network marketing as an industry very special, because you are surrounded with people who believe in themselves and believe in you. Basically, you support each other. So, and that's really beautiful to see. Can you walk us through your first few years in the network marketing? How was it?
Very challenging because I always tell people, in network marketing, you either get punished for who you were before or you get rewarded, right? So some people, they start and they get success right away, but it's not because they're lucky, it's because they built an image, credibility, and network before. And so when they come into this business, people trust them. That for me was the complete opposite. I was a failure, never made money. I was always broke. I always like use like substances that I was not supposed to use. So I was not a best example. So I got really punished for that. And actually, my first year, I made pretty much like zero money. I made like less than $2,000 in my first year. I only made 3 sales, and 2 of them were family members, and one was like a random person that hit me and said, "Hey, I want to buy your product." But I never actually closed the sale, because all the people that I talk to, they say no. So I got a 100% of no's my first year, thousands and I work harder than I work right now, but I knew that, in order for things to change for me, I had to make a lot of changes in my habits, in my, and that takes time, because you can't just change who you are from week from, night to day, so yeah, I had to do a lot of work on myself, and I knew I was on the right path. I need to change my habits. I need to change the people I hang out with. I need to change the people I listen to, and I had to change a lot of things. My second year was a little bit better because I was still doing this part-time. I still had 2 jobs. My second year went a little bit better, and my third year, it's when everything really started like exploding. And then I quit one of my jobs, my restaurant, and I still coached because even like if you are doing good, like the income in network marketing is like this, right? So it's not like, it was not like stable every month. So still my third year, I was still coaching. And then after that, at the end of 2018, 2019, I went full time in network marketing.
Yeah, what I see there is, you mentioned you had a guy who believed in you, and you have this feeling of, okay, there is someone who now I feel trust me that I can do this stuff. How
Mm-hmm.
long does it last? Because as you mentioned, you closed only 3 sales during the first year, how long does that motivation or belief that you can be the number one in Italy, for example, how long does it last? And what were the things that next to that you did to keep you on the track when you were failing during that first year?
Well, for me, I just knew like I couldn't have that type of result anywhere else. Like, let's be honest, being a server, you can never be financially free. Be a soccer coach unless you make it to like the top 1%, but it take you 30 years to get there starting from zero. So like I didn't see hope in any other opportunity in my life without having a degree, without, or there was nothing. I was like, I didn't want to have a job, or I didn't want to be a dentist or a lawyer or anything like that. With all the respect, with those professions, was just not me. And network marketing, I know it was possible, like, because there were other people like me that had zero experience. They started from zero and they achieved results. So my thought was like, even if it takes me my whole life to do it, I'm okay with that, because I can't do this anywhere else. Like, network marketing gives you the opportunity to everybody. Like, it doesn't judge you. It doesn't care who you were before. It doesn't care the mistakes that you've done before, because if you do things right, you will succeed. If you follow the right people, it gives everybody the opportunity. I feel like I was playing on a level field, where like everybody's the same and they don't judge you, where most jobs or profession, they do judge you, because like, hey, if you didn't get a degree, if you didn't do that, like, they don't want you, right? They judge you by pieces of paper. Like, network marketing doesn't do that. So I knew, for me, it's like, I was okay. I made a long-term plan, and I said, even if it this take me 10 years to make more money than my job, it would be worth it, because at least I am more free. I don't have a boss. I can do whatever I want. So like, I made a very long-term plan, and I didn't put an expiration date. I said, I'm going to try until I make it happen. And I think that's one of the most important things that you need in any type of business, like, to commit in a way that there's not an expiration date. Hey, I'll try for 3 years. If it doesn't work, no, like, if there's other people succeeding, why can't I succeed? I just had to figure out, what do I need to do? And I don't care how long it's going to take me to get there, because I'm going to do it until I get there. That was my mindset,
And how long did it take you to get there?
I would say that at least 3 years to be like in a comfortable position to, leave my jobs and all that stuff. And a lot of times people don't have patience. Like, I tell, like, some people study 10 years to become a doctor or a lawyer, and they never have the opportunity to earn maybe this type of income that you get in network marketing, but they're not willing to give network marketing 3, 5, or even 7 years. So a lot of people quit their job too early to do network marketing full time as soon as they have a little success. And the way I coach my team, like, I don't need, if someone tell me like, I don't have a job, I just want to do this full time, I tell them I'm not going to work with you unless you have a job that pay your bills, because like, I don't want people to do this and pressure people just to make a sale because you need to pay your bills, because you wouldn't do it in an ethical way. And for me, it's very important to do this profession in an ethical way, and to only sell products to people that actually need the product and want the product, and not just because you had to make a sale, So I think it's very important to understand that it will take time if you don't have any experience. The only time it wouldn't take time is if you come from already doing network marketing and you bring your team to a new company. Then you can go full time right away, because you already got the skills, you already got a team and everything. But starting from zero, it takes time, and you can't just quit your job and do this. You got to do it gradually.
You mentioned in the beginning that in network marketing, when you start like your career, you are either rewarded for your past or judged for your past. Like, was that the reason why you moved from Italy to California to pursue this career? Because it's like a fresh country, fresh everything, or?
Yes, because obviously in Italy, and this was totally my fault. I live a life of mistakes. I fail in school, I fail in soccer, I fail with my family. I've done so many things that it was so hard to come back from it. Or it's not that it wasn't hard. Like, for me, like, living in an environment where I felt judged all the time, doesn't matter how much I improve or I change. People always look at me for who I was, and they never forgot about it. So when I left and I went to California, I'm like, if I go far away, nobody knows who I was before. They only know the real me, who I really am. And yes, I'll share my past with them, but like, they judge me for who I am, because they don't know who I was before. And that was really important for me to change my mindset and to be mentally free. So for sure, it helped me a lot to go away. And sometimes, like, it's what you got to do, stay away from friends and family that judge you continuously, so you can start fresh.
Let's speak about the cultures, because Italy is known for more relaxed lifestyle. I mean, that's why probably you chose California because it resembles Italy, right?
A little bit,
But
yeah.
but speak about, because where do you start to recruit first? Was it Italy or was it in California?
So I started in the US, obviously, because I started this business here. And, all my contacts that I had in Italy, they knew me for who I was before. So, like, there was no chance they would even listen to me. I tried, but they wouldn't. And so, like, I started in the US, but it's crazy because after I got a little bit of success, I start actually sharing my success with people in Italy. And little by little, we built the number one team in Italy. And now, like, most of my revenue comes from Italy. And I don't want to take the credit of this too, because like I think like one of my best skill was like finding people that were better than me. And I was like lucky and blessed. And in my team, I had people that are so much better than me. I remember like my first big business builder, his name is Arturo. He was like way better than me, like way more knowledgeable than me, way more respected than me, And I was very lucky that he joined my team because is now the number one producer in my team. And because of him, a lot of higher level people came into my team. So I don't want to take the credit of like building that. Like for sure I started, I gave the vision to everybody, but I was also very lucky that I got amazing people on my team that allow me to build the number one thing. Because you can't do this alone. You need like good people to do this.
How you get someone like Arturo to join you? Like what was at the time? Have you already had some big team in the LA, so you already built this authority, or what was the approach with
I
Arturo?
was like still at the beginning. I was not like hugely successful, like I was still at the beginning. But it's crazy how I signed up Arturo because I actually, my mom was my first customer, but she didn't want to do the business because she didn't believe in it at the beginning. And then I asked her, like, hey, mom, like I'm really trying to blow up my business. Do you know anybody that you can connect me with that maybe is successful? They know a lot of people. They're like, because for me to go higher, I need people that are better than me. And my mom was like, hey, there's my Arturo is my salsa teacher, and he always invites me to this network marketing event because he was in another network marketing company. And it's like, oh, you know what, I'm gonna go there. So she went there, and then she talked to Arturo and all that stuff. And Arturo, it was funny because he heard about my story and he wanted to sign me up in his team. So Arturo said, hey, yeah, introduce me to your son because I want to expand my business in the US. So we did this call. It was like really funny because like it was like 11 p.m. my time, 7 a.m. his time. We were both like either in pajama or flip flops because they were like I was going to sleep and he was just waking up, or vice versa. I don't remember, but and we started like he said, hey, I want to show you my products, blah, 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 and he does the whole presentation, and it was a really good product. So I ended up buying the product. It was like 150 euro at that time that I really needed it. But I told him like I'm not interested in the business because I'll refer some people if I have to, but I'm not interested in the business. But because I'm doing really good in what I do, and if you want, I can show you. And he said, yeah, show me. So I showed the whole presentation, and then at the end of the presentation, I didn't know how to close back then. It was really funny. I remember back in the days, I was listening to Jordan Belfort, the Wolf of Wall Street. And in his famous movie, he said the first one that speaks loses in sales. So like at the end of the presentation, like I'm like, I don't know what to say after, I don't want to say, hey, do you want to buy? Do you want to get started? So like I finished the whole presentation, and then I look in the camera and he looks at me and I'm like, I'm not going to speak because like the first one that speaks loses, right? And we look at each other for like a minute. And then like he looks down and then looks up. He's like, okay, he's gotta say something. Like it was getting really weird. And then he's like, well, how do I get started? And I'm like, oh no way. Because I was not that great at presenting back in the days, but I probably felt maybe my passion. And then the day after he went to the office in Italy, he bought all the products. And it took him a while to start because he was involved in another company. So at first it became like a customer. Then he wanted his wife to do the business. Then he started like after he got results with the product. So it was a process, but that happened all because I actually asked my mom, who do you know? It's crazy. My mom is just still like tell me every day, do you think what happened if I didn't introduce it to him?
What do you think got him there? Do you know? I mean, what was his main motivation? Was it the commission plan? Was it the products?
Yeah, obviously, he was in a low ticket network marketing company, which, it's really hard to earn income in those company. Like it's not that, it's not really hard. You can earn money in any company. It's just a little bit different. In order for you, let's say to make 2,000 or 3,000 a month, you have to sell like hundreds and hundreds of products, which is doable. But I think it's a little bit harder than a high ticket, especially if you have a really good high ticket product, where with 3 sales you do the same commission that in other company you do with 500 products. Which again, you can have success in both. But I think when he saw that, it's like, well, because he was doing that part time. So yeah, he was a full-time teacher, as a religion professor. He was a salsa teacher, and then part-time was doing network marketing. So he wanted to be rewarded for that time. And then when he saw the compensation plan, it's like, hey, this product makes sense. It's a product that everybody needs. It's easy to finance too, so all the sales go through. And I think that's what got attracted to him. And also, we're with a Japanese company, so like I think Japanese people, I really look up to them in their culture, the way they do things. I feel they're very different. I just came back from Japan for a month, and I was like blown away by their culture. I really love anything that is Japanese. I went in June for 1 month.
What did you love about their culture?
I think that it's a culture based on helping others. It's like people are at your service wherever you go, and they're. I feel like they have a very different culture, even about health. I really look up at them for health. It's very different, especially being in the US, where I don't want to get into politics, but US is one of the best countries in the world. That's why I live here, but not for health. They have a lot of great things that I love, and I will always live here, but health is not one of them. And I think Japan, they got it right. So I really like the way they do it, and that was for me really important. If I had to do a business, like I want something that I know it's good for people, and I can put my face behind it.
And we work with one network marketing leader, and I think he shared that with us, where like these Asian countries and Japan specifically, network marketing is very natural to them because naturally they trust each other there. Like that's how they live their life. So that's interesting. Let's speak about LA. So you didn't know anyone there. How did you build it? Those are basically cold contacts for you. How did you approach them? What mistakes you did in the beginning? How was it?
Yeah, I mean, at the beginning, I did pretty much every single mistake that is in the network marketing books. Like, there's not one that I haven't done, because obviously I just like took a lot of action, but I did everything wrong. I was like talking too much about the product. I was not listening to people. I was like pitching them, like people say, you got to pitch everybody, and I actually burned all my contacts. There's people that stopped talking to me. People didn't want to respond to me. I lost some friends along the way because they're like, I don't want to hear that. People made fun of me. So it was like really, really hard. And I had to work a lot on myself, and I think the most important thing to attract people is like, it's not really what you do, but it's like the person that you need to become. Because once I have that switch in my mind that I learned that network marketing, it's a personal development course with a compensation plan attached. So the better person you become, the higher level people you attract, and the higher commission you can make. So then I'm like, okay, I don't need to focus anymore on like just talking to everybody, but like if I work on myself, I become a better person, I have better relationship, like naturally I will attract better people. And obviously you got to learn sales and how to listen instead of talk too much. That was my biggest mistake. So I've done a lot of work on myself, and that's what network marketing is all about. It's like about really working on yourself and becoming the best version of yourself. That's my favorite part of this.
And how was it the beginning? What was your strategy to invite people for the meeting? Was it like come to the event, or were you using social media back then, even in 2015, like Facebook,
So
reaching out to them?
my first couple of years, and I was not using social media too much because I was really shy. And my mentor always told me like, you gotta make stories on Instagram and all this stuff. It took me like a year of like, he called me almost every day. You gotta post on social media. And I was very shy. I'm like, what do I say? Like, I don't know. But I think at the beginning, I've done a lot of in-person relationships. So like I learned how to make genuine connection everywhere I go. And obviously having 2 or 3 jobs, I was always exposed to people. I was a coach, so I was a lot of exposed to athletes, parents, and all that stuff. So like I started with my network of people that I knew, that they trust me, because as a coach I did really good, and I always took great care of my health here in California. So people trusted me on that. So I just like share the information with a lot of people. I invite them to check out the presentation. Sometimes I would share the product with them. Back in the days, we used to do that. We used to share the product a lot for them to try. So I use like all kind of strategies. But I knew that in order for me to grow my business, like it's called network marketing for a reason, right? So you have to make new relationship. Otherwise, it would call just marketing. You just market the product to the people that you know. But it's called network marketing for a reason, because you actually have to learn how to build new relationship, how to find new people. And I learned that both on social media and in person. I make it a thing, like everywhere I go, I want to make new friends. And not because I want to sell them a product. It's just because I learned that, network marketing is all about growing your network, and you never know, you know someone who knows someone that could transform your business. So I just make genuine connection, and I really care about people. And I didn't see them as a dollar sign, but I start building a relationship with people that I value, so I could be friends with them regardless if they buy or not. And I was very specific about that. I wanted to make relationship with people that have the same values, the same vision, and people that I look up to, and then everything else is automatic. When you put people first, it's easier to do business. When you actually put your business first, it's very hard, because everybody feel like you're talking to them only because you want to sell them a product, and then they don't buy and you get rid of them. So one of my strength is like really building long-term relationship with people. Even with all my leaders, I have a very, very solid relationship with all my leaders in my business, because I built, not just like, hey, you're my distributor, let's make money, but it's like I built friendship with every single one of them. And that's the cool part of network marketing too, that you can actually pick and choose the people you want to work with. So it becomes fun. Like it's like making new friends. It's your business. It's like about making new friends. And if you know what you're doing, you're going to have a lot of fun with that. And that's why I love this profession, because I work with people that I love, that I feel they're my family, and it never feels like it's work. It's like I'm hanging out with my friends. We're having fun. We're traveling the world. We're helping people get better in all aspects of their life. And I never feel this as work. That's why I barely even take days off. I don't even want to take days off, because like I love what I do, like I feel like I feel good when I do it,
Is that something that came naturally to you, being maybe, friendly or extroverted, or did you learn some skills on how to approach all these people at different places, basically?
No, I had to learn a lot of skills, because I was actually a very introvert person.
Mhm.
But obviously, I mean, moving to the US where I didn't know anybody, it kind of like forced me to grow in that aspect. Because like if I didn't make any friends here, like I was alone. I don't have any family, any friends. So I kind of had to learn that from the beginning, even when I was not in network marketing, to actually get out of my comfort zone and talk to people, because I didn't have any friends at all, here. So that helped me a lot in network marketing too, because like I was very shy. I would never approach someone, hey, what's your name? That's so cool. Let's exchange, you know what I mean? But now it's actually natural for me. Wherever I go, like I talk to people, I make new friends everywhere I go.
How do you do it? Because
Yeah.
networking in business world in general is hard. Not many people actually know how to do it. Example, you go to a business event, and to be honest, everyone is there to make business and to meet new people, potential
Mhm.
prospects, and new clients. How do you actually approach people to build these genuine relationships?
Yeah, for me, everybody asks me like, how do you pitch them, when you first meet them? And I'm like, I never do. Because I never pitch people on the first, it's like I don't ask someone to marry me on the first date, right? It's the same concept of like dating, right? It's like, how do you do it? You don't want to like meet a girl and be like, hey, you want to marry me? I'm Giordano. You want to marry me? That's how, when you pitch someone on the first time that you meet them, right? So what do you want to do with a girl? You want to like introduce yourself, you want to kind of like sell yourself, right? You want to like give her value, you want to show her who you are, and then later on she could commit to you, right? So the same thing is in business. Like I never pitch people. Like I want to show them like my values, who I am, and I always want to give them value. Like I believe like in network marketing, it's like in love or in life, you gotta give before you get. So like for me, when I meet people, I don't think about how can I sign them up or how can I recruit them, but I think about how can I give them value without expecting anything in exchange. How can I help them? How can I give them value? How can maybe I can support their business, right? I support a lot of my business friends. Like I buy products from them. Like if I have a friend that is doing something, I always buy from them. like anything. And sometimes product that I don't even need, I do it just because I want to support my friends, because I always think like I want to behave like people, I want people to behave with me, right? So like if I'm a guy that I never support my friend's business, I never show up when they want me to, and then why would they show up for me, right? So I believe if I give to everybody and I support their business, I support their life, I'm there as a friend, I give them value, anything that I can do for them, I do it, then it will all come back, but you got to do it without expecting anything in return. Because a lot of people, they do like, well, I'm doing that, but I'm not getting it in return. Like you're doing from the wrong reason. Like when you help someone in a way, even if you don't get anything back, it's somehow it will come back if you do it from your heart. And I'm a huge believer in that. So giving without expecting anything in exchange. And the craziest things start happening to me. People start reaching out to me. People start like, because I realize that every day you gotta like give something or help someone every day. So I make it that like that thing. Like every day I wanna like help someone, even if I don't get anything in return.
And how do you know what exactly to give them as a value? Like, is it very customizable based on your conversation so that you know what basically to suggest? Or can you share some examples?
Yeah, I feel like, giving values like could be supporting their business, right? If I know they have a business, I want to support their business before even they look at mine. Like I've done a lot of that, like, and that costs a lot of money too to do. But I always buy their products if I can, or I refer them a customer if I can. I connect them with someone. A lot of people, I find them jobs here in the US. And I never got any. You know what I mean? It's like, so it's just, it depends. Every person is different. Like whatever I can offer to them, it depends on every person. But again, I want to be a friend that cares for them for real. And if I don't feel I actually really care for them, because a lot of people tell me, well, how do you how do you do this? It's like, if you don't feel you really care for that person, like why you should want them in your team anyway? Like if you can't say one positive thing about that person, why do you want them in your life? So for me, it's easy for me to do, because the people that I select are people that I want to be friends regardless if they buy. So for me, I don't think about business or like, what do I need to do to get them to buy? I think about, let's say I don't have a business, right? I don't have a business. I can't sell them any products. And I have 0 friends, right? Who would be the people that I would want as friends in my life? People that have things in common with me, that share the same belief, the same passions, the same hobbies, the same sports or whatever. So I make it a thing of like making intentional friendship with people that I can talk about anything but business, because I know once I connect with people and we have something in common, business will happen naturally down the road. So that's how you do it. You got to find people, like, that's why we teach in our strategies too, like figure out what your passion are. Like, for example, I'm passionate about soccer, right? I have a lot of friends that I talk about soccer all the time, and then maybe never buy from me, but I'm okay being friends with them because I enjoy doing that. And if they buy, cool. Some people bought, some people didn't, but I didn't have that friendship because I want them to buy. Or maybe I'm passionate about personal development. So I have a lot of friends, or I have a lot of friends that are network marketers, that I know they will never join, but I'm really okay being friends with them because I get a lot of value and I learn a lot from that, So like, it's just being intentional about making friendship that you want to be friends with those people, even if they never buy. And then it will happen naturally. You just got to do a lot of them, So I just focus on being a friend, like exactly how you would be like if you don't know anybody and you want to make new friends and you want to make friends that you enjoy,
What are some of the first conversations when you meet them? Like, what is it about? Is it, about the business? Is it about their hobbies? Or it
No, it's
depends,
always
like, where you
about
meet
them.
them?
Like when you meet people right away, they ask you, what do you do? Like, how do you answer that? Right. So for me, I want to switch it right back to them. And I might say something that maybe trigger curiosity, but I always switch it back to them. I wanna be interested in them. So tell me about you. What are you doing? How long have you been doing it? What motivated you to make that choice? I want to find out as many information about them, and I want them to talk most of the time and me listening. And then if I see that there is like a time where they express a particular need, like, oh, I really don't like what I'm doing, like I want to make more money, or I never have time to do the things that I like. There's time that where they tell you. That's why you got to ask the right question, because then when I can see when there is a need, but I never pitch them on the spot. I'm never be like, hey, you know what? I have a business for that. Like I put that in my mind, and then days later, I'm like, hey, I was just thinking about you. You remember the other day we had that conversation, and you were telling me about how you wanted to have more time and or earn more income, and you were really struggling. Hey, I just thought about you today, and I'm not sure if this could be for you, but actually, what I'm doing, it could be something that can help you with that. Would you want me to share something like that?
Mhm.
And then they're open because I'm leading with what they say they wanted, right?
Mhm.
So you want people to think about the results, right, and not about the price or logical stuff, because people buy, because of their emotion, not because of their not because of logic.
So in that case, you find the right need for additional income or just for the
Mhm.
income, right? Does it help that you have a strategy that it's like, don't do this full time, don't go all in with me, just do it the part time, start easily. Like, do you think that uh, gives them the trust in you in the process just by doing it that way or the slow way?
Yes, because I think, like, network marketing, it's a business that unfortunately it's not uh, too much respected. And it's because there's a lot of people that overhype the opportunity.
Mhm.
They inflate their income. They make it look like it's easy when it's not. So I think for me, it's like I'm a very honest person. So I tell people exactly how it's going to be, how hard it's going to be, all the challenges that they're going to face. And that's why people that work with me, they stay for like 9 years with me, because I never make them think that it was going to be easy money with a very little work. I always tell them the actual opposite. Like in the
Mhm.
first year in network marketing, you work way harder than a job and you make less more money than a job, most likely. And there's some people that do different, but those are not common. Because if you look at all the results, like most people don't make money in network marketing. Most people take a lot of time to figure out this business, because then when people have high expectation and they don't do good, they quit. And that's why most people quit network marketing, because they join, goes like, oh, I joined because I want financial freedom of time, passive income. And people are like, they promise those things, but what they don't say is that passive income in network marketing, it takes years to build. Like when you start, it's the opposite of passive income. You actually have to work really, really hard for very little money. And it's the opposite of freedom of time, because you actually have no time freedom at all. Like you actually have, like, you gotta work. And even time freedom, it takes years to build. Because and even today, when I'm like at a really high level, like I do have a lot of time freedom, which means that I can manage my own schedule, I can work from anywhere, whatever, but I still gotta work. So it doesn't mean that you don't work. It's just that it's easier to you fit your business into your life later on, but it takes years to build. So I think this is the key to, like, if you want to recruit high level people in your business, you got to be really honest and tell them what it takes to build this business, and tell them, hey, most likely the first couple of years probably going to make little money, and you got to work really hard. After that, it's going to start getting a little bit better, and you can go as high as you want, but you got to make a long-term plan. So like if you want to have success, let's make a 3 to 5 year plan of like all action without focusing too much on the results, because we know that after that it will be worth it. So I think that's the key for attracting the right people, telling people the truth.
Giordano, let's speak about year three of your business, because that's when it happened, like this leap to where you replaced your salary.
Mhm.
What was the things that you were doing back then? Like, what do you remember that, oh, I did this, then I changed it, and then it started to
I
work?
think it's just like the level of people that came into my business that changed everything. Because like for example, my first year and a half, I made only 20 product sales, right? And then in the some I started studying sales and all that stuff. Like I improve a lot my skills. And then in I think in 6 months I made 80 sales, or actually in 4 months I made 80 sales. So I made 4 times the sales that took me a year and a half in 4 months. And then once I achieved that rank, I actually made 150 sales in 2 months, which it was more than it took me, like, than all the sales that I've ever done. So, and I think it goes back to the skill level. It's like you need to have like better skills. So like once I acquired those skills, my business improved, because the income in network marketing always like goes up and down based on the level of your leadership. So you are like the lead, the cap to your team, right? So if you stop growing, your team will stop growing. So I it's just about getting better. And I feel the third year everything exploded, but it's not because what I did in the third year. It was all the hard work that I did at the beginning where nobody was seeing that, like all the no's that I got, that I got, all the failure that I had, all the mistakes that I've done, that it started to pay off later. And that's what I tell people. Like, you have to understand network marketing. It's like a farmer, the farmer's theory. I don't know if you ever heard that, right? So the first time of network marketing is a lot of planting seeds, right? You're planting a lot of seeds, and you don't really get paid for that, and you don't see any results, because when you plant the seeds, you don't see nothing on the top, right? You're just working, and like, oh my God, when it's gonna happen, right? And then you start like watering those seeds every day. You're doing all the right action, and it's like nothing happens, right? You water, and nothing happens, right? And you're like, well, this business is not working because I'm working really hard, but nothing is really happening. But you just gotta trust the process, and you gotta know what happens after you do all this stuff. Eventually, you're gonna start harvesting, and then your life is gonna become a lot easier. But and it happens all at once. But that's the results of all the action that you took before, knowing what was the outcome at the end. So I feel like you gotta see network marketing like that. At the beginning, like if someone is not having results, I'm telling them, like, you're just planting seeds, and that's this planting seed season. That's okay. You're doing a lot of work. You're talking to a lot of people. All this will pay off later if you keep getting better in between. You keep increasing your skills, learning new skills, and becoming better as a person. Then the results will be better.
What is your best strategy for recruiting? And let's speak first about warm contacts. So, for example, you recruited someone now in your team. So, what they should do and how they should invite first their warm contacts, and then second, like when they run out of warm contacts, how can they invite cold contacts? What is the best strategy to recruit both of these?
I think for me, like, I teach people to do everything right away: cold, hot, warm. Like, it's there's no like right and wrong, because like I feel like if you when people ask me which one should I do, hot market, cold market, I'm like, you should do everything, right? Like, because like people have this mindset of like, what's the least amount of work that I can do to get the maximum results, right? And that mindset is not gonna take you far. So for me, it's like, I'll do whatever it takes. If I had to talk to people online all day or in person, I'll do it until I get the results. So I want people to have that mindset. But obviously, at the beginning, when people start their business, they don't have any skill. So like, you have to have a system that is simple and duplicatable, and anybody can do it with virtually no skills, right? So what I teach people at the beginning is, like, obviously they make a list of their contacts, they download their contacts on the phone, the internet, Facebook followers, Instagram followers, they write them on a list, and then we teach them like specific scripts, like on how to approach those people based on what level they are, right? So like, if the people that are higher level than you got to approach them in a different way than people that are the same level, right? For example, if I'm a server and I'm talking to a guy who is a lawyer, I can approach him like, hey, I have a business. I want you to look at this. You can make a lot of money. Because like, in his mind, like, he's way more successful than me. He will never listen to me, right? So with him, I got to use a more indirect approach where, hey, I really look up to you. I know you're very successful. I just started a business, and I know this is not for you. But I would love you, to take a look at this and give me your opinion on it. And maybe you can help me out developing some strategy or give me some advice, right? Because at the end of the day, I want them to look at the information, but without feeling that they're actually being sold or pitched because they're more successful than me, right? So we teach all the different type of approach, and there's a whole training that I'm not going to do here, obviously, but we teach them how to approach people based on the level that they are, with a direct approach, indirect approach, or super indirect, or like, that's how we call them. And then basically they educate their prospect through the tools that we offer. So it's a video, a webinar, live presentation. It doesn't really matter as long as they watch the information. It can be a live demonstration. It doesn't matter. As long as they watch the information, you can educate them through a third-party tool. And then after they watch the information, you connect them with the upline, and the upline does what we call the three-way call. So this is a very simple system that anybody can do, because they're not worried about what if they have an objection, what if they tell me it costs too much. Like, you don't answer any of that. You just be like, hey, I just started this. Let me connect you with my friend Gio, who's been in the business for 10 years. He's got all the answer, edify, the upline. And then we do pretty much the work for them at the beginning. Because at least in our compensation plan, we get paid very good commission when someone new make a sale. And so it's worth it for us to pretty much treat their leads as they were ours. And I feel this is a winning formula in network marketing too, because we're pretty much paid to help the newest person, and they love that because they have less responsibility. And I think also the best way for a new distributor to learn is seeing you how you do it. So when we do the three-way call, you accomplish all those things. You have a higher percentage of result because you have credibility and they don't. You're training them on how to close a sale because they see what does Giordano say when they say it's too expensive, or when they say it's a pyramid scheme, or when any objection and they hear and they see you how you overcome, and then they see you actually closing the deal. So it's like, oh wow, even if someone says that, you can actually help them. This business works, right? So the three-way call, I think, is the most important tool in this business because you accomplish all those things. You get them the result, and you train them, while you're doing it, and they see you how you do it, and it gives you also credibility later on to whatever you tell them to do, they do it because they're like, wow, Giordano told me to do that and it worked, right? That's why obviously you got to have good skills to do that. But all our leaders, we train them on sales, on how to close, how to overcome objection. We spend a lot of money in personal development in that aspect.
You mentioned that you have people that you want to be friends with, and you like them to join you because probably of the values they have. But how about the skills? I mean, do you see some connections with people who are succeeding with the ones who are failing after that? Like the values are good, but the skills maybe they're missing or something else. So
for me, like, I rather work with someone who's hungry and ambitious than someone that has skills but is not hungry and ambitious. Because like skills can be improved, but hunger or desire for success cannot be coached. So I always tell people, as long as you're hungry for success, you're coachable, and you're willing to do what it takes, I will work with you. I don't even care about your skills, because I didn't have any skills. I was very hungry for success. And I know a lot of people that have way more skills than me, but they're not hungry. Like, they give up easy. They don't do the action. They at the first 5 no's, they quit the business. The grass is always greener somewhere else, and they have the best skills in the world. They could be the best salesman, they could be the best everything, but they will never succeed. So for me, I don't look for skills. I look for people that are hungry and they're coachable, because obviously if you're not coachable, you're not willing to do what successful people are teaching you, you're not going to succeed. And those are 3 things that you cannot coach on how to want success. I cannot tell you, hey, you need to be wanting more money, you need to desire a better life for you, because if you don't want it for yourself, like, it's never going to happen.
Yes. Let's speak about events, because everything moved online since COVID. Are your teams still organizing offline events?
Oh
And
yeah,
do they work or not? What is your take on it?
I feel that in-person event are the key to the business, because you can have the business can do everything online, but if you don't have in-person event, people will not stay long. You will not create a culture, you will not create a community. And leaders are born at events. Like, I don't know any leader ever that I ever met that started online and never did in-person event. I don't know anybody. So when I look at people that are successful, I'm still looking for that person that never showed their face, they never went to an event, and they did everything online and they had success, but it doesn't exist. I never shook their hand. So in-person events, even after the pandemic, like, we start doing like a lot of in-person event, and we grow that number all the time. Because I mean, your income is like, if you look at how many people you have at an in-person event, it's very clear how much money you're going to make in this business. So for me, like, I actually think it's the highest paid skill in network marketing, like most of our mentors say. And it's true. Like, the highest paid skill, like, you can be the terrible salesperson, but you bring a lot of people to an event, you will make it in this business, because the event do the work for you. Like, the professional people are training your team, and they do the work for you. They get them excited. They give them a vision, they give them like motivation, and everything that the people need, they get it at the event. And also, what take people like years to learn, you can learn in a couple of days when you do those type of events, when you have very high level speakers. That's why we invest a lot in, we have a lot of guest speaker at our events that we pay a lot of money to speak, because we want our team to get the highest level of training. And it's also like, most people cannot afford to spend $60,000 to get trained by that person. But if we put up an event where everybody pays $100 or whatever, and then as a team, we bring their best speaker and we get the best value. And I think that's how you grow your team. And that's been the secret of our team. We've been doing events 2-3 times a year, really big, both in the US and in Italy. and it's been the key to our success. Like I think it's the most important thing in network marketing, in-person events.
How do you invite people to the event?
I mean, those events, we don't talk about our business opportunity or our products. And it's crazy because we invite people that they're not in our business, just like as it's a personal development event, right? So sometimes like we buy the ticket for them, right? Hey, I'll say, if you commit to come, I'll give you a ticket. And then they come, their life change because they get so much value. And they're like, hey, what do you guys do? I want to do whatever you do. It's crazy because it's like easier to sell someone when they don't know what you're doing and they come to the event, they see the value first, and then they're like, I don't even care what product you have. I want to be part of this. Then when you send them information about the brand, they say, no, this is a scam, right? But when they actually see the community and they meet the people and they see the level of leadership that you have in your team, like it's like, I want to be around this community no matter what they do. And I feel it's a great way to show them the value before even they take a look at the product. Because if you do that, it's much easier after. Like every event, I bring people that have no clue what I'm doing to our event, and most of them buy. Like I actually, every event, like I bring like 30, 40, 50 new people that have no clue what I do. Sometimes I buy them the ticket. Like last time I had a couple people that they came, they had no idea what we did. And then after the event, they called me and said, hey, how do I start? I want to do whatever you guys do. I don't care. Whatever you tell me to do, I'll do it. And I'm like, wow, this really works,
No, but that's super interesting strategy where you invite them for a personal development training, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And they stay for business because of the community, the skills so you don't mention product, or you mention it in the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in our events that we do in person, those are like personal development event, and we want to keep it neutral because like people like can apply those skills in whatever profession they want, and we want them to see like how valuable our community is, regardless if they join or not. So like our events are very neutral. We don't talk about product, we don't talk about company. We talk about network marketing in general, sales in general, high ticket sales, like and all that stuff. And we give them a lot of value, so we always sell the speakers like, hey, we're gonna have Fraser Brooks, hey, we're gonna have this guy, we're gonna have that guy, he's the number one coach in this, the number one thing, so come to the event, come learn. It's and that's how we do it, and then automatically people we want to join. So we teach a lot the strategy to our business, to our team. And also another thing that I teach in my team too is like in our system, when someone joined the team, like the first thing that you do as their sponsor, you gift them a ticket for the next event. It's the best investment that a distributor can do, because obviously we're in high ticket sales, right? So we, even with one sale, we make more than any ticket is cost, right? And that's the best investment. So what I teach every single person that I've ever signed up to my business is the first thing that I say, hey, we have our next event is on this date. I want you to clear your schedule. I'll give you a ticket. You don't have to pay. And it's the best investment I ever do, because then they come and they stay for long, because people they might come in for the product or the comp plan, but they stay because of the community. And you want people to stay, because the more people you have that stay the longest, the more stable your business is. And so that's how you make people stay. And for me, it's the best investment you can possibly do in network marketing is getting someone to an event. And it can be, obviously, we do our team event, but even the company convention could be a great event that I bring people to that even have no idea what I do. Obviously, that one is it is about the company, but events are like the key to this business for sure.
And yeah, when you're organizing those team events, this is basically you and your upline or your downline organizing that. How big are those events?
I would say like 1,000 people, 1,200 people. Like it's the biggest we've done. And now actually we got so big that our team's starting to do like separate events, because like, we have north of Italy, south of Italy. So now we do like half and half, because it's like, and they do like 1,000 people in the north and we do 1,000 people in the south, and we kind of separate them. But now we're going to do an event together in 2026 where we're probably going to have close to 3,000 people for sure.
Wow.
Amazing. And how do you organize great event? That's my question, because one thing you mentioned are speakers who are great teachers. Basically, they can teach you about sales, marketing, whatever. So how do you do it? Like, what is a successful event for you?
I mean, a successful event is an event where people attend and they leave that inspired to take action that they wouldn't take because they're inspired and I think the key to those events too is like, yes, you want to do a lot of training, but you also want to share a lot of stories, because those are the one that make people relate with the speakers. So like we want, like we put on stage people that have incredible stories, that started with, they overcome a lot of challenges and then they achieve success. And the more realistic those stories are, the more people feel like I can do it if they can do it. So we have a lot of our speakers, even if they do training, but they always share their story first, because there has to be an emotional part too. And I think that's the key of a successful event. And also, like I also attend a lot of events, because like I always tell people, like before to become a good leader, you gotta be a good follower. So I went to every event that my uplines put up, every event that the company put up, and I study. How do they do this? Oh, I like this. I like this. And then I take notes and then I try to replicate, but obviously you can't do it if you never go yourself to other events. So I learn from the best in the world. I study all the people that have the biggest event. What do they do? What I like about it. And then we implement, and then every event you're going to get better too. It was like the first event was not perfect. The second event was better. And then we did 400, then 800, then 1,200 people, like back to back. So we kept growing. And I think it's also important that every event you sell the tickets for the next event. I learned that from all the top people in the world. It's so important, because people are excited during the event and like, okay, I want to commit. And when they commit to the next event, you bought another 90 days that they're committed to the business. And that's what this is about. You want people to do 90 more days, 90 more days, 90 more days, right? And that's why those events are like, I feel like it's like recharging your batteries in network marketing, because like you're always like surrounded by negativity. People make fun of you. So every time you go to an event, you pretty much resell yourself on the opportunity. Like, wait, this is the right place. This is the right people I want to build. And then you do more and you do more. That's why every time we do, like our first event that we did, it was crazy, because within 90 days, we quadruple our revenue. Like within 90 days after that. And I'm like, wait, like, how did that even happen? Like, because people were so excited. And it was like we were doing about, obviously we're in high ticket, so every sale is about $5,000 $4,000. So like we're making like 150 sales a month. And within 90 days after that first event, we went to 800 sales in 1 month, which was the highest we ever done. And I'm like, wow, this event really worked. That's why we kept doing them all the time.
What are some other strategies that you are doing to recruit people and to get them into the business other than events, like currently? Is it like social media stuff or?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, social media is 80% of my leads come through social media, mainly Instagram, but a little bit from Facebook and TikTok. But Instagram, I don't know why it's been always my platform. So obviously, I always think about, personal branding is one of the most important thing, right? Building a personal brand, and it's always a work in progress that you need to get better all the time, because the better your personal brand is, the higher level people you attract. The people that I attract today are way different than the people I attract 6 years ago, right? And this is another thing that take time. It's not like you post 3 videos and now you have a personal brand. It's like years and years and years and years of posting that then will get to the result. But you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start if you want to become great. I tell people all the time, you have to start, even if you're terrible in social media. I was terrible at social media, but start posting, start putting your face out there, start learning from people that are having results. Model them, but don't copy exactly what they do. Always add a touch of your personality, because people will buy you before they buy your product. So once you understand that, you are the product in network marketing. So what kind of product are you showing people, right? And that's why you always want to get better and better and better. So like I try to give a lot of value to people. I want people to look at my page and be like, I can learn from this guy. Even if I never join his business, I can take something away. I can learn something that helped me. Because once you do that, people will see you as a person of value, and then will reach out to you. Hey, I feel this person can help me. How do I get involved? I get a lot of messages directly. How do I get started? How do I get started? Because like people have been following me for a while, and they see everything that I do, and they're like, all right. Then there's that video. They're like, all right, you got me. So when I post too, like I always want to give them valuable things.
Yeah, that's super important. So as we are coming closer to end, what is your advice to someone who started and is struggling now? Like, what would be your advice for that person?
Exactly what I said before, that you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start if you want to become great. And the key of this is like, you have to take action when you're not ready. because like the only way to learn in this business, like I became a good presenter because I've done so many terrible presentations, so many. I embarrassed myself so many times, but I wouldn't be a good presenter if I didn't do that. Because my best presentation, like, and it just sometimes like we overcomplicate things, like, oh, I'm not ready to do a presentation. I always share my story on how my worst presentation ever in my life led me to one of my top business builder, which is crazy because I was just at the beginning of my business. And I did a presentation. In our business, we do actually a demonstration of the product with like some scientific tests. So it was one of my first times. So I do the presentation, and every single test went wrong, and I couldn't demonstrate what I wanted to do. Like literally everything, every single thing was like, I was like purple. I didn't know what to say. And then this person, like at the end, she looked at me and she's like, uh, can I tell you something? Like, it's like, this was the worst presentation I've ever seen in my life. Like, I gotta be really honest. She was like a very like no filter girl. I loved it. She actually passed away. Like I loved her as a friend. But she was like, this is the worst presentation that I ever seen. But I wanted the product anyway, so I'm gonna buy. So and she bought the product, and then a year and a half later, she introduced me to a girl named Whitney, which is now my number one distributor in the US. So if you think about it, like most people wouldn't have done that presentation because they were like, I'm not good. But because I took action when I was not ready, then it led me to one of my top business builder. And that's why my advice for people would be this: like, do terrible presentation, mess it up, burn all your context, or whatever you need to do it messy, as long as you get better each time. Like each mistake will teach you a lesson, and you need those. Because like, because I was embarrassed so much in that presentation, because it was like literally nothing came the way it's supposed to, I became like a maniac of presentation. Like my presentation had to be perfect because I never wanted to be like that. And I became one of the top presenters in the world in the company. They called me everywhere to do presentation, and it's always like perfect now. And actually, but imagine if I didn't do all those mistakes, I wouldn't be able to do it that good today.
Yeah, I have one question.
Yes.
For as a final one. I have my group of close friends, like 7, 8, maybe 10 people that I'm very close with, and it's hard to keep, in the connection with all of them.
Right.
How do you stay connected with so many friends, as you said in the beginning? Like you treat every person that you meet as a friend and giving them value. How you manage all that to be connected with them?
Well, obviously, when you get to like this level, like you have to have a team of people that help you, and you need to start delegating a lot of stuff. Like, I wouldn't be able to do this if I was running my business by myself. Like I have a manager, a personal assistant, a virtual assistant. Sometimes we used to have a chef that cooked all our meals. Like we have I have a marketing team that edit, like, like I have a whole system around me, and I delegate all the things that I can delegate, and I focus only on the thing that only I can do, which is relationships, right? So this is a thing that a lot of people focus on the wrong things. Like I delegate everything that anybody else can do, and I focus on the activity that only I can do, like keeping a friendship, building a relationship, calling people. And I like to call people a lot. I call a lot of people like all the time. I'm not a huge text guy because like you can't really feel emotion via text. So like I'm a guy that I like to call people. I call all my friends. I stay in touch with them. I ask them how they're doing. So that's how I stay in touch with them.
Awesome.
Perfect. Thank you for being our guest.
Thank you.
Thank
This
you.
was great.